You helped me grow emotionally a lot, especially when we first started dating. I remember you would ask me, "How do you feel about that?" No one had ever asked me that. Somebody said, "How do you determine what is redeemable and what isn't?" This is kind of along the
Ooh.
lines of the first question, but a little different. They said, "What if someone you're dating or interested in was disrespectful, but they didn't mean to be?" To them, they were just to them it was just honesty, but to me it was a poor choice of words. I still have feelings for him, but I'm not sure if I want to give him another chance.
So they're broken up.
It's not clear. It sounds like they're not even really dating. It sounds like they may be,
Someone you are dating
or
or interested
they may
in.
not be boyfriend or girlfriend. They may just be going out on like
Okay.
dates and stuff. And this person's like, I'm still interested in him,
Did
but
did I say anything disrespectful to you while we were dating?
not that I remember. But I know I said something on our first date.
But I don't remember what it
Right. We don't
was.
remember what I said, but I remember saying
Couldn't have
something
been that
on our
bad.
first date that like it changed the mood for a
I
little
know
bit.
some things in marriage you've said.
Of course you did. There was the energy changed on the first date when I said something. It was maybe a bad joke. I don't know. But like Pauline said, obviously it wasn't that deep because we're sitting here right now. I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, how much do you like this person? You say you like them. I think it's a couple things. How much do you like them? But also, like, what did they say? Because, like,
Yeah.
maybe they really didn't say anything that was
And you're
like,
overreacting.
yeah, that was like that deep. Now, we're not saying that your feelings aren't valid for you to
Right.
feel the way you feel, but maybe they said something like, oh, like, chocolate pudding is bad.
And they
But
were
like to
like
you,
that
like
that shirt doesn't look good on you.
but like to you, chocolate pudding is everything, and now you upset. But most people wouldn't be upset about that. Reason I'm bringing that up is because if this is somebody you really do like, and you are still interested, it may be worth it to talk to some people close to you that you trust that have wisdom. Be like, hey, am I overreacting about this? I appreciate you coming to us, but we don't know specifically what was said, so it's a
Right.
little hard to really answer this accurately. Um, what would you say?
Yeah, the first part of this question, how do you determine what's redeemable and what isn't?
Yeah,
Very deep, very big question that I mean, I think it could also, you could have possibly meant like what's forgivable and unforgivable. Somebody could also interpret that as like what would you tolerate and what would you not tolerate. So it could all come back down to boundaries, if we're being honest, which is like why we teach on boundaries and why that's a core lesson in just dating universities, because a lot of things come down to boundaries. So for you, if he or she said something that was like, they crossed the line, like whatever the boundary was for you, like I don't like when people talk about my parents, or he had a really bad joke about your mom, like obviously that's really disrespectful. It really just depends on like what your boundaries are. If he made a remark about your appearance when you were wearing, like that could be really hurtful too. And like sometimes guys say things that they think are funny, and like it's funny to them, but it's actually crude, like as for a woman. And some guys just don't have that level of sensitivity yet, and it, like with maturity it will come.
it does take time. Like not even just with like the joke stuff, but just that sensitivity piece.
And learning
Like
what people, what they're offended by.
you helped me grow emotionally a lot, especially when we first started dating. I remember you would ask me, "How do you feel about that?" No one had ever asked me that. I grew up with all brothers.
Yeah.
All my friends were guys. Like I never had nobody ask me, "How do you feel?" So that's something I had to work on when we were first dating.
Yeah.
Asking her that, like I would never ask her, "What do you feel about that?"
You just
It's
like true.
yeah, like
Just a fact. Like
so.
focus on the fact.
All that to say, there should be some grace you extend your man, especially given their context. Like they just really may not have had an opportunity to learn how to be emotionally in tune. And I'll say this: it's really important to make sure that you remember we got to teach people how to love us.
Yeah.
Because if this is the first time something like this happened, this is an opportunity for y'all relationship to grow, take another step. Obviously, depending on how deep it was, like if they said something completely out of line, that's different. But if it was something that was just like it wasn't the greatest thing, then that's the opportunity for you to say, like, hey, I really don't like when words are said like this, or when this is communicated, and you can explain why if you know, and then that person gets a chance to learn you,
right?
And then now you have an opportunity to get to know them, because now you get to see how do they respond,
right, to that.
Do they respond well to that? Do they joke like that again with you?
Right.
Then you'll know, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah, because a big part of this, one piece that we don't know with this question is like, what did he say after he, you confronted him? Did you confront him at all about what he said that offended you or that you found disrespectful? Because if he just said something and then you were just like, keep that kind of like registered in the back of your mind of like kind of counting wrongs, that's not the way you want to go. You do want to have a direct conversation, whether it be on the spot or like the day after, and say, hey, I'm not really sure what you meant by this statement, and like restate the statement so he knows what it is you're referring to, and say like, yeah, that actually really bothered me. It actually made me feel disrespected. And then hopefully he'll say, oh, wow, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I was just joking, or I was just, I was trying to make you laugh or whatever. And then you say, yeah, that actually, that I didn't really find that funny. But I'm glad to know that you didn't mean to hurt my feelings, that you weren't trying to be mean. Next time I would prefer this, and give him an example. And you're not being controlling, saying like, talk to me in this way only. It's just more of like, hey, like if you want to make it, I'm fine with joking around, because you don't want to come across that you're like, no jokes, like I'm so serious. But you can, say, like, I'm fine joking around. I'm fine with you making fun of, my hair or my dog or whatever, but just please don't talk about my this, or at least not in that way, because X, Y, and Z, I'm sensitive about it. This actually happened to me when I was growing up, like kind of explain why, so that they can get to know you better. And then hopefully they can understand, like, oh, this is really serious.
Yeah.
Like,
and hopefully they'll respond like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because like,
right.
I've had situations with my own brother. I'm sure on the other side too, where I said a joke about something that happened to him, or that was about him or whatever, and he was like, yo, that really,
it's not funny.
That I don't like joking about that. And we joke about everything. But in that moment, I apologized. I was so sorry, because I didn't realize that was like something that was deep for him.
Right. But it's, in regards to the first part of the question of like what's redeemable, what's forgivable, really that's not for us to decide. Because when I first read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like a heaven and hell issue. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Burn up.
But I mean, obviously God forgives all. So I mean, you could say anything is forgivable. Because also you have to ask yourself, this is like, it's not really, and I'm only harping on this because of the language that this person used in the question. You can forgive, and you should. God commands us to forgive everyone. 7 times 77 times. That's what it says, right?
7 times 70.
7 times 70. Why did I say 77? I'm sure that works too if you do that. But yeah, like God commands us to forgive endlessly. And even if you decide not to move forward to be in a relationship with somebody anymore, you should not hold anything in your heart against them, as far as like, yeah, he said this to me and he's disrespectful and I'll never forgive him for that, and he's a jerk and he's he's scum because of that, and that's why we're not together anymore. Like, that should not be your heart. It should be more of like, oh wow, if you do share this with him and kind of follow the steps that we gave, and he doesn't respond in a gracious, loving way, that kind of just lets you know that person's maturity, and it lets you know that you all aren't on the same level and you all basically shouldn't be together. And that's okay to learn. That's why you're dating, is to figure out, is this my person? Is it not? And once you find out the answer, either yes or no, you move on. But you shouldn't ever hold anything in your heart and say like, oh, like that person is this or that, and kind of like judge their spirituality and like judge their stance with the Lord.
Thanks for watching this video.
To get more Christian relationship advice, subscribe to our channel.
And make sure you check out our other videos as well.